Hello everybody and welcome back to a new Jurassic World Evolution 2 modded video. Today we're checking out, well, Jurassic World Evolution 2's version that you are able to download from the mods page of its predecessor. So we are looking at the Jurassic Park Operation Genesis or JPOG mods today, made by Sir0John and Loco Jung. So there's a couple of mods that you need for this, so they add in many of the JPOG buildings from that game, released in 2003, like the arrival point, the emergency shelter, and one of my favourite new attractions, the balloon ride, something I really do hope can make it into Jurassic World Evolution 3. There are also many other different decorations that you can get that are not just from Operation Genesis with the multiple mods that you require for this to run smoothly, but also a few Aztec pieces and various others. Oh good, that's always funny working. But I know what you're here for. You're here for the dinosaurs, and we do have every species from Operation Genesis in the game with accurate models thanks to the Operation Regenesis cosmetics pack by Loco Jung. If you remember, he is also the person that has made the Jurassic Park Overhaul Trilogy pack, or whichever order the words go in. So let's check out our first dinosaurs. So we have Brachiosaurus here, donning its Operation Genesis skin, inspired by the 2001 Brachiosaurus from Jurassic Park 3, with a red crest and largely green body. I've also placed a couple of other dinosaurs in this exhibit, including its favourite species to live with, the Kronosaurus, looking very different from Evolution 2's interpretation of this species, with a much nicer looking head, if I'm going to be honest, and a largely green aesthetic, looking really nice. And you'll notice at the feet of these large sauropods we have the Brachiosaurus, with its green body and dark green head that was present on its model in the game. Some of these animals have also been given a sort of tunified aesthetic, which you were able to see in that game. So they look much closer to those animals that just have been ported into a much more realistic game in Jurassic World Evolution 2. Across from these sauropods, we next have our dome-headed dinosaurs, the Pachycephalosaurus, which is inspired by its Lost World appearance, and largely doesn't look too different from the Evolution 2 version of the animal. I mean, it holds itself in a more horizontal posture, but this guy has a red cap compared to the Evolution 2 version, which I think you can actually get a skin that has that, and a largely blue body. So I think these guys were found in the Flaming Hills formation that was in the game, that also housed the Velociraptor, I'm pretty sure, because these guys are actually from the same formation. So we also have a viewing dome, more in line with the Operation Genesis look, that works the same as the remote viewing galleries that we have in the current game. The decoration also is added that uses the entrance of those viewing domes from the game. A couple of other different attractions we have are these viewing towers, and there's also, let me just try and find it, here it is, the viewing vent. So these are the versions of the viewing galleries that were present in the game. However, you don't look straight through them, you instead sit on top of them in this camera. Well, actually, oh no, it did have a deck, didn't it? Okay, that's pretty cool. But yes, so those are our Pachycephalosaurs. In the next enclosure you may have seen the Ankylosaurus, adorning its appearance from 2001's Jurassic Park 3 also, with white details on their osteoderms and that reddish face. So honestly, it's not too different from the 2001 Ankylosaurus. It stayed pretty true to the design. It's just a little bit flatter on the top, as the Evolution Ankylosaurus is quite domed at, well, it's got a bit of an arch to its back. But here, it's much flatter, more like that 2001 Ankylosaurus. Let's go here. So here is our Stegosaurine exhibits. So we have Stegosaurus itself, inspired by, I think, the Jurassic Park 3 Stegosaurus over the Lost World, as that one did appear a lot greener than the Lost World Stegosaurus. And here it holds its tail a little bit lower, much more indicative of the Jurassic World interpretations of the animal. And you've got those impressive thagomizers on the tail. Overall, looks really nice. Stegosaurus has often been dubbed in a green coloration, and this is accurate to how it looked in Operation Genesis. Its preferred neighbouring species also lives in here, the Acrocanthosaurus, a much smaller species from Tanzania in Africa during the Jurassic period. So these guys also have their colours and the spacing between the spikes that they had in that game. So they're much smaller, having that browner front and lighter rear end. But they look fantastic. I love how they're so much smaller than the Stegosaurus as they were in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. And yeah, I really love using the Acrocanthosaurus. It's a really fun animal. Across from them, we have, okay, here they are, our flock of Gallimimus, which there's not too much to say on it. It looks like the Gallimimus that we've come to expect from the Jurassic franchise, with those indicative stripes on the shoulders and on the tail, and the largely brown-orange colour. They're going off to find water. So that's also our sauropods. Over here we have a little corral of different hadrosaurs and our iguanodont Kronosaurus. Looking rather similar to the Jurassic World Evolution version of the animal, with a red bill, and honestly, I kind of like this design more than the regular Evolution one. It has a unique feel to it, having a different way it holds itself compared to many of the other herbivores in the game, and I like the difference in the sail that it has. Well, sail or hump. Either way, looks really nice. Neighbouring it is the larger Albertosaurus, which has its skin from Operation Genesis, which does actually remind me, and I think this might be true, it is inspired by the Albertosaurus from, well, the Anatotitan from Walking with Dinosaurs. However, it could also be inspired by the 1997 concept art that the Albertosaurus was going to have. It was featured as a living dinosaur in the Lost World. That, however, did not come true, and instead was a fossil, well, a skeleton, or at least just its remains in the TRex nest. Next to the Albertosaurus, we have our Acrocanthosaurus, with a largely different coloration to how it appeared in Jurassic Park 3, but keeping many of the same colours. And yeah, it's not the most exciting of the hadrosaurs, I'm not going to lie, but I do love Acrocanthosaurus, and it's nice to see that it wasn't skipped in this pack. And lastly, the fan favourite Parasaurolophus, an animal that you really cannot have a Jurassic Park movie without, as they have been in the franchise since the beginning, first appearing in the distance in the 1993 film, and occasionally getting more and more screen time as the franchise went on. But it's really nice to see it donning those Lost World colours that it is best known for. And yes, it's the Parasaurolophus, and every one of these hadrosaurs and the Kronosaurus cannot actually coexist with one another, but do all share a liking for Albertosaurus in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. So that is why they are all in here together, because I didn't think it was worth me creating a whole load of other habitats just so that it could be another hadrosaur mixed with Albertosaurus. Over here is our first carnivore, the Dilophosaurus, having its Jurassic Park colours and that iconic frill. There's not too much to say, as they are not too different from the actual Dilophosaurus that we have in game, but it looks really nice. I love that Dilophosaurus was actually included in Operation Genesis, and just about every other dinosaur in Jurassic Park was. However, I think there were a few that were missed from the original 3 movies. Momentosaurus never made it into Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, which is unfortunate, but yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Who should we go see next? I'll save the big guys for last. So we'll go see our ceratopsians. So there were 3 ceratopsians in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, but we'll start with the one that was actually more of a mention in the novel, which is Styracosaurus. So Styracosaurus was actually present, I believe, on Isla Nublar during the events of the Jurassic Park novel, and so it was included here as after Triceratops, Brachiosaurus is the next most famous ceratopsian, with its iconic nose, horn, and crown of spines. Another ceratopsian that was added is the closely related to Triceratops, but not Triceratops, Torosaurus. Having a more rounded frill, lacking the I would like to say osteoderms, but I'm just going to say spines from, or just large scales from the Triceratops' frill, and really reminded me of the Walking with Dinosaurs Torosaurus that was released a few years before Operation Genesis came out. But overall, it's a very nice animal. There is a unique pattern on it at the base of the tail, which does allow this animal to stick out from the crowd. And lastly, the fan favorite Triceratops, with a much bigger head than I remember. But this animal is another one of those dinosaurs that has made it into every Jurassic Park film, and is easily one of the most iconic dinosaurs of all time. Looking really nice here, reminding me of that 1993 Triceratops, and a little bit of Lost World too. But there's not too much else to say on the Triceratops. It looks like Triceratops, so it's good. Across from these ceratopsians is our pack of Velociraptors. So, looking at this, you might be thinking, that's not the Operation Genesis raptor, and you would be correct. So, Operation Genesis went for more of the, if I can find them. Where are you? There you are. Oh no, it's not you still. And aha, here we are. So Operation Genesis opted for the female Velociraptor design from Jurassic Park 3 as its, well, Velociraptor skin. There was a planned male, but it never made it into the final cut, but that is why we have it here, as there was a little bit of, there were a couple of images showing off this male Velociraptor. And it looks just like the Jurassic Park 3 male, just not having, oh no, it did have yellow eyes, didn't it? But also has the quills and that distinct white streak down the side. But the Velociraptors look fantastic, as they always do, and I just wanted to create a mixed pack in here that sort of resembled the one from Jurassic Park 3, where there were fewer females and more subordinate males. Let's find our next dinosaurs. So let's move on to more carnivores, as, well, we don't really have any other herbivores to look at. So first up is Albertosaurus, the only other tyrannosaur featured in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. And if you're a hardcore Jurassic Park fan, you would know that this animal was part of Trespasser. Not this one in particular, but the species itself. It's one of the sort of more toonified designs in this mod pack for this dinosaur, as, I mean, it's Albertosaurus, but the snoot on it is massive, I will say that. I also have vivid memories of this Albertosaurus having such a haunting screech in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. Okay, they are on their own. I was just checking. It's in the next habitat that we do have a mixed bag. So we have Allosaurus here in this habitat with its distinct red coloration from the game. As you can see, it's getting a bit cloudier and it's going to start raining. Going to really lean into the Operation Genesis aesthetic. I'm going to see them interact. But Allosaurus is my favorite dinosaur, and I love its design here. It looks really fun, very much like how Allosaurus has often been portrayed. I mean, not necessarily red, but it looks really good. We also have another theropod in here, the Ceratosaurus, which is an animal that I don't think you could keep with Allosaurus in Operation Genesis. I don't quite remember, but you can in this game, so that's what we went for. So the Ceratosaurus has those coloration, has the coloration from Jurassic Park 3 and so on into Camp Cretaceous. Though Camp Cretaceous was long to be released when Operation Genesis came out. But the Ceratosaurus looks really nice here. It is one of the more, hesitate to say this, but more basic dinosaur designs, as it is somewhat similar to the Albertosaurus in overall looks, though it does have a different head, of course, just with a horn. It is one of those filler carnivores that fills a niche, but doesn't really have too much else to do. At least that's my take on it. Where are you? There we are. One of the best of these remastered designs for the Jurassic Park Operation Genesis pack, the Acrocanthosaurus. So the Acrocanthosaurus in Jurassic World Evolution, I will say, is not my favorite large theropod design, but it is certainly an animal that deserves respect, and I love how this mod has changed it into what its name means, the high-spined lizard with those raised, I want to say neural spines that give it its distinct look. And yeah, look, it now looks a lot closer to what an Acrocanthosaurus should look like, but also having those iconic colors from Operation Genesis. Next over, we have another iconic design from Operation Genesis, the Carcharodontosaurus. Perhaps one of the most used designs in Jurassic World Evolution fan art for the Carcharodontosaurus, and in some cases the Giganotosaurus too. It is a fan favorite among the community, and I'd certainly love to see a skin closer to this added in Jurassic World Evolution 3, as it is a very nice blend of colors. You have the greys, the browns, and even a couple of blacks in there, with those bright green eyes and the red lacrimal crests. It really does have a iconic look to it. You can see it and you just know that that's the Carcharodontosaurus. And overall, looks fantastic. Looks just like it's been pulled straight out of the game. And that just leaves us with two dinosaurs left. Starting off with perhaps my favorite carnivorous dinosaur in the game, Spinosaurus. Looking absolutely fantastic, and yeah, looks fantastic. There's not much else to say about it. The Spinosaurus has often been a fan favorite for me in the franchise, as it just had such a cool look, and sometimes I even said that I preferred this design to the animal more than the accurate animal. But hey, I could get beef for that. But it is a very cool design, the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus, with that blue on the sail and the darker reds. And yeah, gave it a big wetland habitat for it to enjoy. And yeah, Spinosaurus in Jurassic World Evolution 2 though is a very cool animal, has all its unique animations, and can't wait to see what they do with it in the next game. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Jurassic World Rebirth will reintroduce the Spinosaurus into the live-action scene. And so, our last dinosaur comes, but is nonetheless the iconic Tyrannosaurus Rex, donning those Jurassic Park 3 colours as the bright green bull. And yeah, this is an animal that you just got used to when you played Operation Genesis. It is a very memorable design, as there's just something about a green T-Rex that feels right. Like, I know the buck T-Rex from The Lost World is one of my favorite dinosaur designs in the franchise. If not my favorite, I just love how it looks. And the bull was actually a recycled buck. So they actually used Buck's animatronic in Jurassic Park 3, even though it ended up being a CGI fight, though the animatronic was still used. They just changed the color, the shade of green, to make it look like a different animal. But anyway, that is everything. So there's also these command compounds that you can place around. I just didn't have enough room next to the path to connect that straight to the fence. But you've got all these Jurassic Park Operation Genesis buildings, all the attractions, and all the dinosaurs. It's a really cool mix, and I loved building this map just yesterday. And it does look like a very different game in Jurassic World Evolution 2. But having all of it the same, it just brings back some great memories from that game. And hopefully some of the features that were included in that game, like island creation and unique guest types that actually feel unique, will be added in Jurassic World Evolution 3. We'll just have to wait and see. But if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate the like, and if you would like to subscribe, go right ahead. But as for now, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.